This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
Opinions expressed are those of the show hosts, not WPSL, WSTU, or eXp Realty. Any reproduction or reuse of this program without written consent of WPSL and WSTU is strictly prohibited. And now, welcome to the My Dream Home Radio Show. Your chance to find your dream home. And of course, here are your hosts, Eileen Simons and Paula Brady.
Good morning, Cliff. How are you?
Oh, really fine so far.
It's not working?
Well, you got to be right into it.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Good morning, everyone.
You have a guest on the show this week.
I do. You know what? Let's get right to it with Pete. Since he's ready to go, we can start with him today and then do our other stuff afterwards. Is that all right?
Yeah, I think we can go. Are you ready, Pete?
I'm ready. As long as you can hear me all right, I'm good to go.
We hear you great. Yes.
Sounded
So Pete Lashenka is a loan officer for Prime Lending. I've known him several years. He is very involved in the community as well as with Prime Lending. And so we are honored to have him with us today. Good morning, Pete. Thanks for taking time out from your busy day to be with us.
Well, Eileen, thank you very much. Paul, it's good to see you again, and I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
You as well.
Thanks a lot. I know there's some things that we're going to talk about today that are relative to today's market, but let's start out learning a little more about you and your company, okay?
Absolutely. Well, I myself have been with Prime Lending just shy of 5 years as a mortgage loan officer. I've been in consumer lending since probably a good 15 years or so. My career started out in banking here in Martin County from 2002 until about 2016. And then I got into mortgage lending.
Are you a native Floridian, Pete?
No, actually, I'm originally from Connecticut. My father worked for Pratt & Whitney and decided he was tired of the winters. And in 1985, took the transfer down to Palm Beach Gardens. And I grew up in Juneau.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Juneau is a nice little town, kind of tucked in there. A lot of people don't know about it.
No, you're absolutely right. Between Jupiter and North Palm Beach, it's a nice little enclave. And they actually live in a little subsection called Juneau Isles, which is an even smaller, petite little area.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. They have beautiful beaches down there.
Yes, they do.
Really nice.
That's what we hear.
Yeah. All along the coast, but those are really pretty down there.
So we were going to, let's start out talking about bond loans, okay?
Absolutely. Bond loans is a program there's a program offered by the state of Florida through Florida e-housing, or if you want to go to the website, it's floridaehousingplus.com. And there are bond loans and there are grants that are available for first-time home buyers that'll offer you down payment and closing cost assistance. Mm-hmm. Now, first-time home buyer doesn't mean that you've never owned a home, just means that you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years. So a lot of people don't realize that and maybe missing out on a great opportunity for them.
Yeah, I think that's important to get that information out there.
What was the website again, Pete?
It's floridaehousingplus.com. And it's FL, I believe it's FL for Florida.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. ehousingplus.com. You don't need the Florida. Just ehousingplus.com.
Plus spelled out, or is it just a
plus spelled out?
Okay, very good. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. But there's two different halves to it. There is a bond program where you can go ahead and you can get $7,500 to help you with down payment and closing costs, down payments and closing costs. And that $7,500 just sits there as a 0% loan, as a lien against your house that you don't even have to make payments on. You do have to pay it back. It doesn't go away, but it's at 0%. So it's never going to be more than $7,500. And the only time that when it's due back is if A, you sell your house that you used to purchase.
Yes.
B, you've refinanced the loan.
Which
C,
you would pay it back then, right?
You would pay it back then because it's a lien against the house.
Okay.
C, you've purchased another house to be used as your primary residence. So this is now an investment property. They would want their money back at that point. Or D, 30 years from now, you finally made your 360th payment, they're going to want their $7,500 back.
Ooh. You might have time to save that up during that time. Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah. That's great.
So this is available for primary residences,
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
and it's $7,500 no matter what the price of the property is.
That's correct. That's one of 5 options. Correct.
Okay. Is it because I know we talk a lot about the Attainable Housing Foundation that's available through our Realtor Association.
Yep.
Could people theoretically combine both of those?
I don't believe so. I think it's a standalone program.
So
I could
one or the
certainly
other.
look more into it, but I'm almost positive it's a standalone program.
But this program gives them much more because the Attainable Housing Program gives them up to 2,500. So this is 7,500.
Yeah.
So even if they're paying $150,000 for a condo, they can use this bond program.
That's correct.
That's awesome.
Wow.
No, again, that's one of 5 options. There's a $10,000 bond option.
Oh, okay.
That one just requires you to actually start making payments on it right away. But that one is amortized at 3% over 15 years. So the monthly payment on that would be at $69.06 a month.
Well, I was
So
going
if
to
you
say
really
even that
needed
is a good interest rate, 3%.
It's not too bad. If you need that extra cash, then you can go that route. But there are 1, 2, 3 more versions
Oh
that
my
might even be a
gosh.
little bit. It might even be a little bit more entertaining than what we've already discussed. And
Wow.
those are grants.
Oh, okay.
Grants do not have to be paid back necessarily. They are forgiven over the period of 5 years.
As long as
So-
you stay in your house for those 5 years.
That's right. If you stay in the house for 5 years, they'll have been forgiven. They're forgiven at the rate of 20% a year. So if you move or sell your house after year 3, you'd have to pay 40% back, but 60% would be forgiven.
And these are
So-
all state programs, not federal programs, correct?
It's a state, correct. It's a state program that's run by a company through e-housing. All of the loans are then sold to US Bank, who handles all the purchases of these particular loans.
Okay.
Now, those 3 grants come in 3 different sizes. They come in 3%, 4%, and 5% of the loan amount.
Wow.
So if you're doing a loan for $250,000, you could be getting $15,000 in grant money.
Grant money. Wow. That's awesome. That's
Wow.
amazing.
No, 12. That's 12.5. $300,000 would be 15,000.
The
Wow.
studio's falling in on me.
We're losing our backdrop.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Let's see if I can fix
The
that.
tropics are coming to you.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's better.
Even the backdrop couldn't believe these programs, Pete.
Right. There's a couple of caveats to it. 1, you do have to be a first-time home buyer.
Mhm.
2, you have to have a median credit score of 640 or higher.
Okay.
Okay. 3, there are income limits and they're by county, but in Martin County and Port St. Lucie County, it's right around $80,000 for the bond program. It's $97,000 for the grant.
Oh my gosh.
In Palm Beach County, it's almost $101,000 for the bond and almost $123,000 for the grant. So it's not out of the realm. It doesn't really knock a lot of people out. That's a good portion of the population.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fabulous.
I'm so glad you're telling us about
Yeah.
this. There are so many people out there that I'm sure will be able to take advantage. Before we go any further, can you give
Sure.
us your phone number?
Absolutely. I'll give you 2.
Okay.
My office line, 772-324-5294. which if I don't-
5294.
5294. If I don't get it, I will get an email. A voicemail will become sent to me as an email.
I
We
get
do
those
work
too.
remote a lot these days.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Easiest way to reach me is my cell phone, which is 772-341-4339.
You know I have you on speed dial, don't you?
I hope so.
You're one of my preferred people.
That's awesome.
So, but the bond loans and the grant loans are a great way for first-time home buyers who, you know, a lot of times if you're paying rent, you might be paying more in rent than you could be paying in a mortgage. So it could be difficult to save.
Well, especially the way rent prices are going up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's always a great time to at least find out what your options are and see what it is that you do qualify for.
Yes.
I'm thinking of somebody right now that might be interested.
Everybody around me is writing your phone numbers down.
Yeah. You got to give this information to a few
And I'm going to
people.
make a phone call as soon as we get off the air today too.
Yeah,
Great.
that's awesome.
So let's talk about jumbo loans.
Sure. Jumbo loans are over the last few years. It's funny. I was listening to your bio on the way in. You've been in real estate for 20 years.
In a long time. I call myself a lifer.
Since you were like 11, right?
Oh, sure. Thank you.
But for a long time, the jumbo loans were, or I should say, conventional loans stopped at $417,000 for like there's a 10-year run where anything over that was considered jumbo. And jumbo has some different parameters to it. Sometimes you can't borrow as much, and it requires more of a down payment investment on the buyer's part.
And we're still talking about for residential properties, right?
For residential, yeah. At Prime Lending, we strictly deal residential.
Okay.
Okay. But that number is increased probably in good sense to keep up with what actually the market is bearing these days for home prices. And as of January 1st, the conventional loans tap out at $548,250. So just under $550. Anything over that is considered a jumbo loan.
Okay. Well, that's a tremendous increase over the last amount.
I want to say the last amount was about $30,000 less than that. So it's a big jump. It's a big jump.
So a conventional loan can be up to 500 and what?
548,250.
548,250. Anything over that is called a jumbo loan.
A jumbo loan. That's correct.
Okay.
And like I said, there are different parameters.
Change as they're borrowing more money. Do interest rates change, or is the interest rate more tied to credit and income?
Well, interest rate is reflective of the risk in the loan. And that could be dictated by your credit score. If you have a higher credit score, you've shown that in your credit history that you're less of a risk, so you'll get a better rate. Where if you may have a lower credit score or have had some late payments, including on mortgage payments or even in rent, it could cause your score to drop and you'll become more risk, and therefore you'll have a higher interest rate. It could be your percent down. If you have quote unquote more skin in the game,
Yes.
you're more likely to get a better rate because you're less likely to walk away from more of your own money versus more of a bank's money.
Right.
It could be the type of home that you're purchasing. Are you buying a single family home? Are you buying a condo? Sometimes condos require a little bit more interest rate because there's more than just the risk of you and how you maintain your condo, but it's how does the association maintain all the
whole building,
and the whole building and all the common areas, and how do they govern your neighbors and whatnot. So there's a lot of things that go into it. Even zip codes where you're buying can dictate rate to a degree.
Just like insurance rates, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's a lot of things that go into it, but sure, jumbo, the amount of the loan, really it's going to be how much are you putting down is going to be a large percentage of the rate that you'll get.
Okay. Can we go back to the bond loans that you talked about a little bit?
Absolutely.
Are those bonds and grants available no matter what kind of financing you're getting, whether it's conventional or FHA, or are they only available for certain kinds of loans?
They are for conventional, FHA, and VA.
And VA?
and VA. Yeah.
Aren't VA 100% loans?
Yes. Yeah. With no money
Wow.
down. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
VA actually just came out with a new product that just started. I want to say it was January 1st, where you can get a $1.5 million VA loan for zero money down.
Whoa. Whoa.
You too can live on Hutchinson Island.
Yeah. That's
You,
amazing.
you have to show you can make the payments, but if you can swing it, you can do a VA loan up to $1.5 million for
Wow.
no money down. You still have to pay closing costs, but at Prime Lending, we don't charge our bank fees, our own fees, so we waive those. So your
Wow.
closing costs are even minimalized there as well.
That's phenomenal.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Now I just have to figure out how I can pay for it.
That's right.
How am I going to pay the mortgage so I can go to the beach? Wow, that's amazing.
Wait
No,
until
it's
you win the
good.
lottery and then you can
That-
finance it.
Yeah, then I wouldn't even have to finance it probably, but
I don't know. Money, the interest rate these days is still so low that it it almost makes sense to borrow and put your money into use, making a higher rate. So
true.
Right.
Yeah. I just keep hoping that next lotto ticket's going to be it.
there you go. Just remember your good friend Pete.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Well, because you told me that you gave me the scoop. So there we
Yeah.
go.
Well, I have to tell you how Pete and I met. Pete always would be an affiliate for our realtor association, and he would come to the Thursday meetings when we had the Thursday meetings in person. And always after those meetings, we would do a tour of the properties that the agents and brokers would open up for us to tour on that particular day. And Pete was always gracious enough to load his car with us and
That's right.
take us around to all of these broker opens that we would go to on Thursdays.
Yeah, that was nice. That was a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to being able to do it again.
Yeah, I was going to say one of these days we'll get back together again, hopefully.
Well, they actually are letting affiliates come to the in-person meetings now. You just
Oh,
have
they
to
are?
make a reservation because
Oh.
they're still limited as far as their head count on person.
That's cool.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right.
So let's talk a little bit about the differences between conventional financing and
Okay.
FHA financing and VA financing.
Okay. Well, we'll do the easy one first. Let's talk about VA.
Okay.
Because we've already started about it.
Yeah.
VA it's obviously it's for veterans. There's a
Yes.
couple pieces of paper
And they
that
have
you
to
really
have a
need.
DD 214, right?
That's one of the two items you need. That's right. And your certificate of eligibility to show that you are eligible to receive the VA benefits for use for a home. Okay.
Yes.
There are some people that feel that, well, I've already used it to buy a house in the past, I can't use it again. Well, that's not necessarily true. Sometimes it can be reinstated at 100%. Sometimes you can get it at a discounted usage rate. So it can be used, and you just can't be using it for two different homes at the same time, as it's only for your primary residence.
Oh,
Okay.
that's interesting.
What happens if you use it when you buy your primary residence and let's say 6 years later you want to keep that house but you want to buy another one? Would you be able to do that and make that primary residence the new home then instead of the old home?
I believe you would have to refinance the current primary out of that particular loan that was used to purchase it, because you cannot use the benefit of the VA benefits simultaneously on two separate homes. They have to be used at one at a time. So you would have to either refinance that initial mortgage to something different, or you would have to sell that house and then use your benefits to purchase the new one.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But you could refinance that first one and then use your benefits again to buy a second one.
I'm almost positive that's the way that it is. You'd have to refinance to a conventional loan or out of the VA so that your benefits became available again.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. And do you think that, this is a personal opinion, but I'm just asking, do you think that VA is the best way for veterans to get a loan for a home?
Well, it requires zero money down.
Right.
So that's always nice. You generally will get some sort of discount um, on closing costs because, again, prime lending doesn't charge our own closing cost fees. Other banks, I'm sure, probably do something close to the same. So if you get 0% down is,
You
if
can't
you're
get
buying
any better than that,
Big
can you?
benefit. Yeah.
listen, if you're buying a $200,000 house and you don't have to come up with 3 or 3.5%, that's $6,000 or $7,000 that's you're keeping in your pocket or keeping invested, working for you, or hopefully putting it towards better use.
Yes.
Right. That's awesome.
So that would be that's my personal take. Obviously interest rates should all be pretty much in line. I can't imagine that VA rates would be so much higher than a conventional rate, even if they were, that it wouldn't behoove you to go ahead and take advantage of 0% down.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
So
I just wanted to make sure that I was talking correctly when I talk to veterans, because when I do, I always tell them, you probably should take a look at a VA loan before you look at other ones.
absolutely.
Yeah.
The pros are so much greater. Again, 0% down is a fantastic way to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it take any longer to process those loans?
If we have all the information up front, and generally it's not the DD-14, but the certificate of eligibility, then no, we could still close it in 30 days.
That's
Absolutely.
excellent.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. It does require a little bit more inspection time. You need to have a termite inspection.
Right.
But other than that, it's really, and that generally can be done on inspection day anyways. So,
Right.
especially down here where we have the humidity, we have the moisture 12 months of the year. That is everybody should probably think about doing that.
Right. Those
So
little
most
pesky
definitely.
things. Yeah.
That's right. The WDOs, the wood destroying organisms.
Right.
So
I was listening to a presentation from the bug guys the other day, and they made it very clear, which a lot of people don't understand, that termites are in the ground in Florida. And even if you have a concrete home, a CBS home, you can still get termites. So you need to be proactive about that and have it checked on a regular basis.
that's true. Absolutely true. Absolutely correct. So conventional loans,
Yes.
as we continue our conversation, are really your everyday kind of loan. Don't ask for extra information. We certainly don't ask for anything more than what's required from the government for us to verify and to check. We do have to prove that you can afford to make the payments on it for federal guidelines. But it's a straightforward loan. We check on the loan to value. What percentage are you borrowing versus the value of the house? We check on debt to income. What percent of your income are we using to cover not only the mortgage, but all of your trade line items? And we check your credit score to see how you've handled your credit in the past. Those three things, and we can go ahead and that's pretty much the basics to a conventional loan.
And what's required for a down payment with a conventional? What percentage?
You can go as low as 3%, but generally you want to be around 5.
5. Okay.
If not more, at least 5. The reason saying is that there's a little thing called mortgage insurance.
Oh,
Right.
I was just going to ask about that.
Yeah.
Mortgage insurance, if there's any time that you're not purchasing or even refinancing with 20% ownership or 20% equity in the house,
Yes.
you're gonna have a requirement of mortgage insurance. And mortgage insurance just really helps protect whatever financial institution you're dealing with, in protecting them against you not being able to make the payments anymore.
Right.
It helps to cover the percentage, the gap from 100 to 80% ownership in insurance. So if you put 3% down, you're going to pay a higher rate of mortgage insurance than if you put 5% down.
Right.
If you put 5% down, you're going to pay a higher rate of mortgage insurance than if you put 10% down. And of course, if you put 20% down, the percentage is 0. So
For the mortgage insurance.
for the mortgage insurance, right?
Yeah.
For the mortgage
Not
insurance.
for the interest rate.
Not for the
No.
interest rate. So FHA, or the
Yes.
Federal Housing Association, that is a government-backed, government run program for home buyers. And it's generally it's for those people who maybe we've had some dings on their credit in the past, that they're trying to overcome or have overcome, but still has a little bit of a way to go. A lot of times I see it used a lot for a lot of first-time home buyers who maybe just haven't built their credit up for whatever particular reason. Maybe they don't have as high of a down payment set aside. And what the FHA does is it actually, since it's government backed, they have mortgage insurance as well, but it's built into the loan. So it's not necessarily an extra portion that has to be calculated in. What happens is that it becomes part of the loan itself. So but you always have it. So the downside to FHA is, well, actually, the upside to FHA is you may get a little bit of a lower rate because it's government secured. So it's government backed. So it's less risk to the bank or the financial institution you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
You can get favorable rates. You have to put down as little as 3.5% for FHA, but the mortgage insurance that's built into it, you have for the life of the loan. It doesn't go away automatically when you get 20% ownership or 20% equity of your own. The only way to get rid of it is to refinance out of it.
Right.
So that's something you have to remember.
So it's not like when you have a conventional loan and you get to your 20% equity, you can call and have that
Remove.
that mortgage insurance removed. You can't do that on the FHA loan, correct?
No, it's there to the very end, to your last payment. It's there.
Okay, but you would still, going back to our first conversation about the bonds, you
Yeah.
would still be able to qualify for those if you fell into the correct parameters, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. And we'll always try to get somebody approved conventionally first, because of the main reason, just because of the FHA has the mortgage insurance. So if I can, be it 5 years, 6, 7, 10 years down the road, if I can give you $100, or it's different for everybody, but if I can save you that mortgage, whatever the cost of the mortgage insurance is, well, I would do that every day of the week for somebody.
Oh,
Right,
sure.
Right.
Especially when you're talking about paying it over the life of the loan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's 80% of the loan that could have mortgage insurance that if you went conventionally, you wouldn't have it.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that could be a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Listen, sometimes it's a little dollar amount percentage wise, the mortgage insurance, but sometimes it could be in the hundreds of dollars. It really it really depends upon your credit score, the amount down, the amount that's being protected or insured, and for how long it's going to be insured. So
Right.
I couldn't even begin to tell you what it's going to be until I ran it through. One of the good things is we have 6 or 7 different mortgage insurance companies that we deal with. So I can check the rate and give you the best rate, depending on which one comes back the lowest for you between the 7 of them.
Mhm.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, options.
What
And
I'm hearing you say through this whole conversation is that so many things are tied to credit. When we explain to people that you need to work on your credit, this is exactly why, because you want to be able to get the best rate for your mortgage that you possibly can. And the better your credit score is, the more you are helping yourself when you go to make your purchase.
That's correct. Absolutely, 110%. If you can keep your usage rate down on your credit cards to 30%, and usage rate being, for easy math, let's say you have a limit of $1,000, you want to keep your carryover balance at 30% or $300 or less. When you start carrying more on a monthly basis over that 30%, it starts having a negative impact on your credit score.
Right. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't think I've ever heard that 30% before.
30% usage rate is key. That's a big one. It's 30 or 35% of your credit score is based on your usage rate. The
Excellent.
next one is
Wow.
and you want to have, if you had a credit card that you've had, I don't know, since you graduated high school, graduated college, and you've had it now, it's the longest card you've had. You don't necessarily want to close that one. It may not have the best interest rate, but if you can pay it down, you really want to keep it because of the age of your credit is another big contributor to your credit score.
So even if you keep like $100 on it and you pay on that $100, that's better than closing it.
Buy a tank of gas on it every month to pay it off. Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's interesting. I
Good to
didn't
know.
that. Mhm.
Yep.
Excellent.
So
Well, I'm telling you, you really gave us a whole lot of information today, Pete. I am so grateful for you coming on the show and being so informative for everybody.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, can you give us your contact information once again, please?
absolutely. My office line is 772-324-5294. And my cell phone, which is always the best way to reach me, 772-341-4339. You can call or text me.
Excellent.
Okay. And
All
is
right.
there a website for Prime Lending?
Oh, there is. Hold on one second.
Yeah, you never have to use it, right?
I never have it. Hold on a second. Because it's I work with my business partner is Jackie Brock.
Yes, who I've met also. Yes.
You have met her, and so we're a team. So we have. Oh, I'm typing the wrong password. We do have a page that you can go to.
Okay.
And if you bear with me 1 second.
And does your basic application, can they access that right on your page?
They can actually apply right online.
Okay.
And it is LO as in loan officer .prime lending, which is all one word, .com/J Brock. So the letter J, BROCK. lo.primelending.com/J Brock.
All right.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
Pete, thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate all the information. And I'm going to be calling a customer when I get out of here today and having them contact you.
I'm more than happy to answer any questions and always happy to do so. Thank you so very much for having me on today. It's been a pleasure. It's all mine. And have me on again anytime you like. I'm more than happy to do it. This is great.
All
Thanks,
right.
Pete.
Wonderful.
Have a
Thanks,
great
Pete.
day.
Have a great day.
You guys too. Be well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Now that was a guest that I enjoyed listening to.
Absolutely.
Very informative.
'Cause
A
there's
lot of meat to his information.
Yeah, a lot of valuable information. A lot of folks don't even know about that's
Right.
available.
Correct.
And
Yes.
if you're thinking of your dream home, this is the show to listen to. And I'm usually not the studio engineer in here. Greg's usually in here. Greg had some previous engagements lined up, and I got to sit in, and I got to sit here fascinated by Pete's message and what he had to say about,
Good. I'm
especially-
glad to hear that.
yeah, the alternative different types of loans.
Loans. People
Yes.
don't know that.
And the differences between them.
Yeah. And I think people are afraid to find out because they always worry about their credit score. They worry they don't have enough saved and all that kind of thing. But if you go and talk to them, they have a way to help you no matter
Yes.
what.
And they, even if you're not ready now, like I have a buyer like that. She went and talked to her lender 3 months ago to find out what she had to do to put herself in the proper position to
Position.
be able to purchase before summer.
Right.
Wow.
And, you know, they will give you, they'll give you step-by-step instructions of what you should do, what you shouldn't do, where you need, what your goals should be. So yes, take the time to contact Pete or someone like him and put yourself in the best position you can to make your purchase,
Absolutely.
especially now with prices the way they are.
Right.
Well, did you need to take a break during the show every once in a while?
Oh, no, we're good. We can
we're
keep
good to go?
going.
Oh,
Yep.
good.
We got information for, we got a lot of information to go through yet today.
All
So
right. Oh, you had when we started out, it seemed like you had something all lined up that you wanted to skip for at the moment to get to Pete.
well, I did, but we can come back to that now.
Oh, okay.
This is an article, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because if you are selling your house, please be honest. Do yourself a favor and please be honest about the condition of the home. Buyers are very savvy and very informed nowadays. They're going to ask you to fill out a state form that's called a seller's property disclosure. There's one for residential property. I think there's a separate one for condos, maybe. Anyway, it's called a seller's property disclosure, and it's a form that asks you a lot of questions about the house, about the mechanics of the house, about the age of certain things. And you have to sign that. And there's instructions on the beginning of the form that tells you this has to be filled out by you, the owner, in person. You cannot give this to somebody else to fill out, and you cannot give it to your real estate agent to fill out. So that's important information. That buyer will hold on to that information and they will expect it to be correct. So do yourself a favor and be honest.
They want to know, the buyers want to know a lot about the properties.
Well, and you
that
don't want to
wouldn't-
end up in court sometime later because you lied on this form.
Right.
I've seen it
exactly.
happen before.
Yeah.
So yeah, do yourself a favor.
What about title insurance? Somebody down the road, you bought your house, down the road, somebody comes along and their ancestors had a claim on that piece of property.
Well, that's why there is a title insurance policy written for a warranty deed. We had Chelsea Title on several weeks ago, and they'll be coming on again in March. So when Anita comes back on, we'll be discussing more
it's
about
really
that.
fascinating.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
It what am I trying to say? It covers you to have the insurance.
Right. It
So-
covers that chain of title to
Right.
make sure that
Right.
the abstractors didn't miss anything when they did the research on the chain of title.
Right.
So you don't get a surprise 6 months after you made your purchase.
Oh, good.
And somebody else says, move over. This is my house.
Yeah, really.
Uh,
So I was reading this interesting article last week, and it's called 8 Red Flags Home Buyers Will Undoubtedly Notice and How to Address Them Correctly. I'm telling you, I just kept shaking my head when I was reading this article. Some of the things that this was an article that was written from interviews from home inspectors. So what I'm telling you is don't do this stuff. Okay. A red flag is a fresh coat of paint on one room ceiling.
Hmm. What would that indicate?
Maybe there had been a roof leak.
Oh, trying to cover stains from water damage.
And that's one
Oh.
of the questions on the seller's property disclosure is, have there been any roof leaks? And if you say no,
And there were, uh-oh.
yeah,
And you painted the ceiling a new color or a fresh paint, the
Right.
people are going to notice those things.
And
and they
if
even
it doesn't rain before you sell the house, they might not know, but then they might know
Yeah.
when they go to view it.
well,
Right.
that's why you
That's
have a
important.
home inspection done.
Yeah.
And home inspectors even notice if there are new cans of paint in the garage
Oh.
or new cans of like stain-proof primers. They're going to look extra closely when they find that kind of stuff.
Well, the house has to be up to code before they can issue a.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have to have a new, you have to repaint anything. That's not part of code.
No.
No.
But any construction is.
Right.
Correct,
right.
yes.
And any repair to say a water heater,
Yes,
that stuff has to be inspected and
it does. And that's part of when they do that search also for your title insurance, they check to make sure that there are no open no open permits.
Right. You also need a certificate of occupancy, which it has to pass the code test for,
Correct.
basically.
And what I will also tell you is that I've seen situations where people just took part of their lanai and extended the house and didn't get permits for it.
Uh-oh.
And they had to tear that down before
Yeah.
they could close,
Yeah.
you know? So
That-
again,
that's
be
costing
honest.
twice as much. Yeah, you got to be honest about it.
Yeah.
It's twice as much as you had planned on paying.
Oh, absolutely. And there goes all your profit right there.
Yeah.
If you shut off the water in one bathroom in a house, that's a red flag.
Real? Oh, possible leak, huh?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. They know how to watch for these things.
Yes.
Inspectors are good.
If
Okay.
lights are, if there's a circuit breaker turned off so that lights in one room won't work,
Ah,
because they will also check all those circuit breakers.
yep.
This is really dangerous. Small space heaters
Oh,
or air
no.
conditioners set up. Don't do that.
We've seen a
um,
lot of fires due to those little space heaters.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't even trust the ones that are built with ceramic inside to keep the heat. No, I don't trust those.
They
Well,
get
and it's
hot.
not like we need it that much down here
No,
anyway,
no.
you know? Here's another one that I thought was really interesting because a lot of people forget about the exterior. So, strategically placed planters or shrubs on the outside, because maybe there are puddles of water that collect near the foundation.
Or septic issues, if septic tanks apply, not necessarily septic, but pipes that go under a house and the house is up a foundation like some of the older structures.
Well, sometimes even when you have, if you don't have your downspouts connected correctly to your
That's right.
gutters,
Yeah.
you know?
You don't need
I've
any
seen that
flooding coming up
before.
from under the house.
No.
Nope, that's for sure
No.
too, right? Plastic wrap taped across every window.
Uh-oh.
Why in the world? I got to tell you, from selling up north for so many
Yeah,
years.
we saw that up north to keep it warm.
Oh yeah. Instead of having storm windows, they would just put
Plastic wrap over it.
plastic wrap.
And that helped.
Oh, yeah.
I've never known.
Well, we
it's
thought it
sort of
did.
like an insulator.
Okay. I have someone that has it over their, or know someone has it over their windows, but they say it's for to keep the sun out. So I guess they don't want the heat from the sun.
Well, some people.
Is that possible? I mean,
some
maybe it
people
does
down
help.
here. They do put. They do put
What like
like
the-
a shade barrier on them.
oh, maybe
on the
that's what it is.
glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some tinting available for
Yes,
for homes
tinting.
as
That's
well
the
as-
word I
as
couldn't
well
think
as
of.
houses and cars.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Well, this isn't tinting. This is something that's actually just taped up over the window, but
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know about that
Looks a
one.
little strange, but
I don't know about that one.
yeah, I'd worry about that. It might be a red flag.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is be honest when you're filling out your seller's property disclosure. Those of you that are selling your homes. Paula has some zip codes too. We were a couple weeks ago, we started working on zip codes, and she did some research on condos and a few zip codes this week.
Right. These actually are 2 condos. So
That
there are
means 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom,
two bathroom, right? Yeah. So it may be a little different if there's others, but these were the criteria that I went by. And this is for area code 34957 in Jensen. There
So
are,
Jensen Beach, that might include a little bit of the island too.
right, it did, especially with the price range. There are 29 2 condos available in Jensen in that zip code. The lowest price of 156,000.
Mhm.
The highest price of 1,900,000. So I would suspect that is on the island.
I
Can we
think that would
safely
be-
call that a $2 million deal?
Oh, well, you probably could, yeah.
I
but
think that would be a
acceptable.
good point on
Yeah.
on your part.
Then there's another zip code is 34994. It's Stewart.
Mhm.
There are I'm sorry, I got to get to the page. There are 46 2-bedroom, 2-bath condos on the market, ranging in price from 80,000 up to 150,000. So that's 34994.
Which is like North Stewart.
Right, correct. Then into St. Lucie County, we have the zip code 34952, which is Port St. Lucie. They don't have quite as many condos. They have 11 condos that are active on the market right now, and they're ranging in from price of 117.9 to 259.9.
And are those all 2 bedrooms also?
Yes, all the criteria were the same for 2 bedrooms, 2 baths in all these different zip codes.
Okay. And 34952, that's like Southport St. Lucie, isn't it?
It's yeah, I think it's couldn't tell you, from Jensen North
Yes.
and to 95.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Okay.
that area. And then the North Hutchison Island area, 34949. There are 68 2-bedroom, 2-bath condos available. And
68.
68, so quite a few. They range in price from 169.5 to.
Wait a minute. A 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom on Hutchinson Island for,
Well, it may not be on the island, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
in that zip
Okay, it's-
code
that's,
that
okay.
includes North Hutchison Island.
okay.
And that price range then is 169.5 up to 1,050,000. So there's quite a gap there as well. Quite a difference in range depending on where you look.
Some of those are probably beachfront.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sure.
oh,
Yes.
For
yeah.
folks who like to take a little stroll on the beach at
Sure.
sunrise. why
Yeah.
not?
Well, they might even not be beachfront. They might be on the other side of the island too.
could
They
be
might
on
be
the
on the
river.
west side.
places, plenty of them.
Riverside. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it still could be waterfront, but maybe
Right.
not oceanfront.
right. I would say that average it runs in 300, 400, 500,000 in that area.
That
But-
sounds about right.
Yeah.
As long as we're talking about Hutchinson Island, those of you not from the area that have heard so much about Hutchinson Island before, I think it's important to point out there's only 3 bridges to get you to that whole island. There's the Stewart, what I call it the Stewart Bridge, which takes you through Sewell's Point and onto the island. The
South
ocean-
Island.
Yeah, the Oceanographic Society is right there when you get off that bridge. And then there's the Jensen Beach Bridge, which is also still kind of South Island.
Kind of. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And then the next bridge isn't until you go all the way up to Fort Pierce.
Right.
The South Bridge.
There's a South
Fort-
Bridge at Fort Pierce and there's a
Is it-
North Bridge at
Is it-
Fort
Yes, and
Pierce.
an inlet is right in between.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. So
but the-
4, my mistake.
Right.
But 3 towns. There's
Oh,
one
yeah.
in Stewart,
Okay.
one in Jensen, and then up in Fort
Fort Pierce.
Pierce.
Those are 2, right. okay.
Right. To
Right.
Fort Pierce.
And
Yeah.
further up in Sebastian, there's another one that's Indian River County. But you have some properties up there. There's
Yes,
John's
that's true.
Islands up there.
That's
Yeah,
true. Yes.
yeah.
Many other wonderful places.
Pretty up there too.
I guess I was talking about this area. People say,
This is the
what?
area,
There's no way to get to the island between Jensen Beach and Fort Pierce? I said, nope. There are plenty of beaches on the island. We still, luckily, which I hope never changes, we still have plenty of public beaches on the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But
absolutely.
yeah, not a lot of ways to get over there. So if you're thinking about purchasing on the island, you might want to keep that in mind.
But it's nice to be secluded. It's like out of the hustle and bustle of everything.
Well,
Right.
that's very
Yet
true. Yes,
Not that far away, really.
No,
that's
it's not.
right.
No.
Just a few miles.
That's why people dream about having a dream home here in Florida.
Exactly.
Florida's full of dream homes, right?
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
In paradise.
Yeah.
There was a Sam Crutchfield. He was a fishing reporter on television years ago. He released a CD, an album called Just Another Day in Paradise. Very popular song in this area because that's what we're in.
Oh, sure.
Just another day in paradise. That's all.
Exactly.
When you're coming here for the first time and you hear people talk about, or I have a neighbor who has a doormat that says "Welcome to Paradise,"
Uh-huh.
and you think, really? And then the longer you stay here, the more you realize,
And the
yes,
more
you
you
know,
hear
we
the-
are very blessed, very fortunate to be able to live here.
Where do you learn
Exactly.
about why they call it the Treasure Coast? And
Oh,
that might
yes.
have brought you here in the first place.
Right.
With the chance of maybe finding ship treasure. from
Spanish
Well, there are
Spanish
people
galleon.
that
Yeah.
got famous that way, aren't
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say there are, I'm not a diver, but they say there are actually shipwrecks that you can dive off the coast there.
Mhm.
So I didn't know that, but
But you have to have permits if you're going to pick at
Oh,
them.
absolutely.
yeah.
You can't
Absolutely.
just go out
Yes.
there and grab it. But you know, I've seen people do excellent with metal detectors on the public beaches because people lose watches and rings.
Yeah,
So
there's some
always
treasure
kind
there
of
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And the people, the biggest treasure of all, the people.
That's right.
Even to go sit and watch. I took a morning the other day and went over to Jensen Beach, and just to sit and relax and watch the people go by. You know?
It's nice. I love that. That's definitely a nice pastime.
Yes.
Well, some people like to take that picture of the sunrise every morning and post it on their Facebook.
Yeah.
Seen those?
I don't get up that early anymore.
I keep thinking I'm going to do that, but I haven't done it yet.
But don't forget, the folks that move here, they're excited about it. And it's a
That's right.
beautiful, it's a sunrise like they never saw back home.
That's
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Right.
The most beautiful in the world
Right.
right here in Florida.
As long as we're talking about paradise, I'm just going to give you a little teaser for next week, because the community that I'm going to feature next week is Harbor Ridge Yacht and Country Club, which is a very beautiful, well-kept secret in the area. A lot of people don't even know that it's right here in our own backyard.
True. Gorgeous, gorgeous community.
Absolutely. So we'll be looking forward to that next week.
Yep.
Harbor Ridge Yacht and Country Club. I'll get a head start and I'll look at the website.
There you go.
Before we forget to give you our contact information, I want to let you know that you can reach us at my cell phone is 772-200-5105. Our email address is mydreamhometeam@yahoo.com. And our website, www.mydreamhomeusa.com.
All right.
Remember, if you have any questions, you can always text or send an email. You're welcome to call into the show. We really appreciate people who call in and ask information while we're live. So that's always a possibility as well.
And you can always give them a call at one of the numbers they give you. And of course, there are also archives of this show on YouTube.
WPSL
TV.
TV.
That's right. So you get to see these lovely ladies in their wonderful show, My Dream Home, on WPSL Port St. Lucie, WSTU Stewart, the Talk of the Treasure Coast.
Cliff, thanks so much for filling in today.
Thank you. It's now 11 o'clock.